Welcome to the CD Mayhew Coaching podcast. This is episode 1. We're going to set a lot of the groundwork today, a lot of the expectations that you should have for when you come to this podcast, what's going to make it different than, I guarantee you, every other podcast you've listened to before. And before I go any further, understand that that doesn't mean that this podcast is better, but it is different. As somebody who loves podcasts, I listen to one or watch one almost every single day. I've always felt that there was a key element missing that I needed for my life. And when I go to a podcast, I love to learn. I love value. I want to take something and make it as efficient and as effective as possible. I don't really want to listen to a guest tell me about their life story every single day when I go to a podcast for 30 to 45 minutes, only to walk away with one little golden nugget that I could apply maybe. I want to go to a podcast and learn something. I want to learn something that I can apply immediately to my life and see if it works, see if it fits, see if I can get a result out of it. If so, I'll go back to that podcast over and over until it stops working for me. That's the point for me, is to learn. And that's what I wanted to make my podcast about. You know, everybody, when they create something, they have a passion, they have a purpose behind it, they have a vision, and they have something that they want to get across, and they want to transfer something. So for me, my idea is to transfer knowledge. It's to transfer value, and it's to transfer something that, like I say, I look for. Take something away from this podcast every single day, something that you can predictably count on, that you could use immediately. You could implement it into your life, and you can see if it's a good fit for you. And I'm confident that the majority of the time, if you're the right listener or however you're consuming this, it is going to be the right fit for you. But we'll let time tell that story. So things you can expect: I'm not going to be bringing on guests, although I may bring on a few every now and then. That's not going to be the mantra of the show, is to bring on a guest every episode and let them tell their ideologies, their backstory. It's not going to be about that. It's not going to be about giving you a long-winded story of my backstory either. It's going to be about having a topic, a feature in the fitness or health industry that I know I can transfer over to you that day, and you can implement it to better serve you. It might be something that's going on currently in the world that's trending or needed. It might also just be something that I get frustrated having to tell clients and strangers and random people that ask me questions the same thing over and over again, and this could be a great platform for me to be able to do that. So every day when you come to this podcast, I want to teach you. I don't want to be a lot about fluff. I don't want this to be long-winded, although I am right now because I'm setting the foundation. This is going to be about getting to the point of a specific topic that you can benefit from. And that's going to be the standard that we keep over and over again. So without further ado, let's get into today's topic. It's going to be very primitive on the front end, but I want to break down to you why it's such a struggle for almost everybody I speak to. Every client that I onboard, and predominantly the people that come to me that have a challenge and they look for my help. And the first thing I ask them is, today's topic, how to select a goal. What is your goal, how to select it, and how to connect it to the long-term vision. The reason why I see everybody struggle with it is because they come to me and they have 3 or 4 goals. And all those goals have no vision of where they want to be in 5 years, 10 years, or even in 6 months. And the first problem is they have 3 to 4 goals, and that's straight out the gate your first problem. So when you're looking to set a goal, you need to have one goal, one specific goal that allows you to put all of your focus into that. And since this is a health and fitness related channel, let's just say that if you come to me and said, I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to improve my personal record on the squat, and I want to build muscle, lean muscle all at the same time, I'm going to tell you that's not going to happen. And you shouldn't want it to happen, because even if you could do all 3 of those things, which is very unlikely, and we can talk about that in a different video if you really need some explanation, it would dilute whatever result you get in either one of those or either of those 3 results or those 3 goals. So you don't want to dilute your goal. You're likely to not even hit anything if you try to set more than one. So the point is, what's the definition of focus? It is literally about looking at one thing and completing that task before moving on to the next one. Goals are supposed to be stacked one after another. So you could do all 3 of those things, just not at the same time. So when I work with anybody, before we go further, I have to know what their one goal is. And I almost always have to bring them in from these, and I'm an ambitious person, so I love when people come with me with a huge vision of where they want to be. I love that. But we always have to bring it back to, where do we start and what is that one goal? Maybe you do want to build lean muscle and burn body fat. Let's do one first. Let's burn body fat first. Let's get you into a healthy, an attractive level of body fat, and let's build from there, as an example. So starting with one goal, once we've gotten to that point. The reason why I stress this, I've already given the backstory of that, but even more so, why this is so important is because your goal is going to be attached to how I set up your meal plan. How frequently do you work out? What type of workouts do you do? How much cardio do you do? How much protein, fats, and carbs and calories should you be consuming? What supplements do you need? Every element of your program that I'm going to design for you is based off your one goal. So we have to have that one goal, and you have to have a goal. Sometimes people have 5 goals and some people have no goals. They just know they need something. So both parties are in a problematic situation. So when you come to me, we're going to set a goal, but it's just going to be one goal. It's going to be one goal at a time, and then we're going to stack that to where you want to be next. And then we're going to stack that to where you want to be next. And by the end of this duration, you're going to be in a great position, and you're going to have achieved all those ambitious things that you wanted to achieve when you came to me initially. But we're going to do it in a very systematic way. So your goal, one goal at a time, so that we can build a program that fits specifically and customized to that, from supplementation to nutrition to training to cardio to recovery. Everything is going to be based around your goal. So you have to set one goal. Next, I can't stress that enough, by the way. Next, that goal also needs to be connected to where your end game is going to be. So when I set a goal for myself, as an example, let's bring me into the picture. I don't think about where I want to be just in the next 30 days. I think about where I want to be in 6 months, and I also think about where I want to be throughout the duration of my life. I'm trying to make this the long game here. I'm not trying to destroy my body in a way where I can never work out into my 40s and 50s and 60s and so on and so forth. I want to look good forever. I want to be in shape forever. I want to have a certain level of muscle forever. I want to feel good forever. I'm playing the long game here. So every goal has to be about where you want to be in 5 years. Where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be forever? Where do you want to be for the rest of your life? You can set that goal, believe it or not. I know everybody likes to think that we all go downhill after some mythical number, some arbitrary number that people want to throw out there and think that it all has to be downhill from here, but it doesn't. And the truth is, you can actually maintain yourself, and maintaining means progressing forward, by the way, but you can progressively move forward in life and look good and feel good forever. That never has to stop. Despite what you may believe, it never has to stop. It's just the route that you have to get there will change, but the goal doesn't have to change. Progressively getting better never has to change. So let's do a little recap. Number 1, you have to have a goal. To the people who have no goals and they just want to get in better shape, but they have nothing specific, to the people who have 5 specific goals, I love where your head's at, but you have to bring it in, and you have to have a goal, and you have to start with one goal. And then we're going to compound and stack on top of each other. So starting from the top is you have to have a goal. It has to be one specific goal, and it has to be connected to your long-term vision of where you want to be. Now here's something we haven't talked about, but this is equally important, and that's the deadline. Every goal must have a deadline. A deadline is going to, for one, it's going to keep you accountable. It's going to prevent you from thinking you can push something off to tomorrow, to next week, or to even next month, because people get that out of hand. But a deadline does have a level of accountability. However, more important than that, the reason why you really need a deadline, and the reason why you have to have a deadline for me to help you to the fullest at least, is the deadline is going to dictate the intensity and the pace of everything that I build for you. Because for the person who wants to achieve something in 30 days, that's very different than the person who wants to achieve that exact same thing in the next 12 weeks, or in the next six months, or over the course of a year, or who ultimately just wants to be there by a specific event, wedding, vacation, whatever. The deadline attached with the specific goal is what allows us to determine your calories, your cardio regimen, your supplement regimen, your workout regimen, and it helps us dictate the pace and the intensity. So without any one of those elements, your plan is going to be incomplete. It's not going to be near as effective. It's not going to be near as efficient. And everything that we do is about efficiency and being effective. It's about giving you a blueprint that is guaranteed to work, barring that you follow it. So set a goal, attach that goal to your long-term plans and vision of where you want to be, and make sure there's a deadline attached to it. I guarantee if you bring this to the table, we can build you a blueprint. A blueprint is available at somewhere in this world for whatever you're doing for you to get to where you want to go to. I hope this video serves you well, and we will see you in episode 2.